Are you a slave to the bad habit dragon of multitasking? If that's you, you don't want to miss this. One thing I've learned over the years, if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. Yet women are the queens of multitasking, and it absolutely comes at a cost. We take on more than is possible in a day, and most of those actions are not even focused on our own self-care, health, weight loss, or even our own happiness. It's why multitasking is a bad habit dragon, because it steals your happiness, yet feels so impossible to stop multitasking. Bad habit dragons are influences of your past that have been totally cemented in your memory center. And then they hold huge influence in causing pain, suffering, and the amazing ability to steal your happiness, and usually your waistline too. You might have received praise for how much you could juggle and accomplish in a day. You might have felt loved or recognized for all that you did to take care of others. You might have been promoted in your career for all the extra work that you took on. And here's the kicker. You did it all while balancing laundry, raising a family, making dinners, packing lunches, getting chores done, and volunteering too, just to name a few things. Am I right? The problem is that the pleasure and satisfaction that you received from getting all of that done was noted in your brain. Your brain is always listening to the inner dragons that breathe fire on your emotional brain. So the pleasure center, the nucleus accumbens, gets a huge reward from the positive responses of your multitasking, even the subtly satisfying stress that comes with it. And then it stores that situation and the reward of multitasking in its memory center, the hippocampus. This is a process called long-term potentiation, when neurons in your brain fire and wire together, regardless of whether the habit is good or bad, healthy or unhealthy. The habit is ingrained in your life. Early on, that habit is weak, but over time, and the more you repeat the behavior of multitasking, the more your brain makes this behavior automatic, reflexive, and habitual. The problem is that some habits, like multitasking, might seem great initially, but they produce long-term consequences that are not ideal, including weight gain and increased risk of disease. And oddly, we subtly become addicted to the stressful feelings associated with multitasking, not to mention the negative impact that bad habit dragons like multitasking can cause in relationships, finances, work, and more. Please know that your brain was actually not made to perform such chronic multitasking. In fact, multitasking and having a group of priorities is a trend popularized only in the last 100 years. In prior times, we had a singular priority, which makes sense. Our brains are more effective when focused on one task. To decrease overwhelm, stress, and emotional eating that results from a multitasking situation, think like a masterful, healthy person who has balance around life and the actions that serve health, happiness, and growth. Imagine how that person would act, feel, and behave. What would she do in her healthy day? Probably not crammed with all the things. Now, the time to start thinking and living as a thinner, healthier person is right now. You can do this. To prioritize this week, plug into the healthy identity that you have envisioned for your life. And if something doesn't align with the person that you choose to be, please say no. You're still important, even if you're not busy. Then, before bed each night, make a list of the top 3 priorities you must accomplish before your head hits the pillow the next day. Rank them in order of importance, and then block them out on your calendar for each one, breaking down the actions required to complete a priority task. So for example, if you have an overwhelming work presentation due on Friday, schedule blocks of time each day to work on the presentation, breaking down the components into manageable actions, and absolutely say no to everything else at that block of time. So on Monday, start researching. Tuesday, start writing. Wednesday, edit and fine-tune. Thursday, practice and rehearse. And on Friday, successfully and confidently present. By identifying as a successful person and blocking out time and breaking down your priorities into manageable actions, you bypass overwhelm and emotional eating. Choosing your priorities allows you to be a person of optimal health, and it also allows you to live your best life. I have just a few spots open right now for one-on-one private coaching to stop yo-yo dieting and to lose weight permanently. If you want to head into the holidays a few pounds down, stop those bad habit dragons, and not feeling worried about gaining weight during the holiday session, click on the link in this email to schedule your one-on-one call to discover if this is a good fit for you. I can't wait to work with you and support you to conquer those bad habit dragons.